Hey everybody, Mac here. You have come to my YouTube channel. I don't know how you got here, but I really appreciate you getting here. Your first question would probably be, what is Mac short for? Well, it is short for Macam. And your next question would be like, what does Macam mean? And then I would tell you, you're already on the internet, go look it up. Learn something today instead of farting around on YouTube. However, you farting around on YouTube actually led you to me, so why don't you just stick around until I'm done and then you can go figure out what that is. If you are wondering, I have no filmmaker cred whatsoever. I just watch a lot of movies. I've never been to film school. I took one film class in my years of college, and it was a cool film class, but that's it. That's all I got. I also have no filmmaker credits when it comes to YouTube, as you can probably tell, because that's the back of a bedroom, and I have a light glaring on my face. So you got to deal with the glare. I wear glasses because if I didn't wear glasses, I'd be running in everything and probably staring like this the entire time, and you wouldn't. I'd be talking to you over here. My rants for a little bit, until maybe a viewer base is built, are going to be movie focused. And like I said, I watch a lot of movies. I go to the movies all the time. I love the experience of going to the theater, and I will never stop loving that experience, especially now that they have reserved seats and recliners, which was like the best thing they have ever done. The recliners are cool, but the reserved seats, the reserved seats are so great. By the way, have you ever been to a theater when you get your reserved seats and then somebody's actually sitting in your own seats, and then you say, hey, you're in my seats, and then they get annoyed? They look annoyed at you when they have to get up and move. It's like everybody picks a seat in this theater person. You know how to read a ticket? Do you know how to read numbers and letters on a chair? Then boom, you are qualified to pick your own seat. It's not like I wronged you by picking the seat that you're in. That's my seat. That's just a mini rant. This is what you're in for. So my focus today is first the movie Venom and the wonderful website that some people live and die by and some people want to protest at every step, Rotten Tomatoes. Specifically, why critics hate some movies and why audiences embrace them so much. And I think Venom is a perfect example. I grew up reading Entertainment Weekly, so I read a lot of critic reviews. I also specifically remember reading movie reviews in Rolling Stone. I even remember reading the little movie blurbs in USA Today and even my local paper. So I've been listening to critics for a very long time. I still, to a point, like to listen to critics, and I don't know why, but I just do. I will go see anything. I mean, anything. You're talking to a guy that saw The Art of War in a movie theater. And if you don't know what The Art of War is, whoa, it's crap, man. Wesley Snipes at his absolute bottom, besides getting arrested. I will see anything. When I was in college, my roommates and I literally saw a movie every Thursday night. It didn't matter what it was, okay? It could have been a masterpiece. It could have been we sought out tickets to Dark City, or we scraped the bottom of the barrel and watched The Crow City of Angels. No lie. And I still, to a point, see anything. Obviously, with a job and family, it's a little bit more difficult to see anything I absolutely want to see. But I still manage to see as much as I possibly can. And so I do pay attention to what the critics say. Now, Venom. I was not intrigued in the least by the trailers for Venom. And I love comic book movies. I love them to death. The MCU is just awesome. The DCEU, Wonder Woman. As it inched toward its release, I thought to myself, okay, let's see what the critics are saying. So then the Twitter comments came out from the premiere, and they were kind of a mixed bag. And then the reviews started pouring in, and they were abysmal. People were trashing this movie. They were saying stuff like the tone is completely uneven. The antagonist is completely worthless. It makes no sense without Spider-Man. Just bombarded with a horrible, horrible barrage of reviews. And its Rotten Tomatoes score, meaning the cumulative score of all of the critics that have seen this movie and published their reviews, stands right now at a 30%. That means 30% of people that liked it. This does not bode well for Venom. My gorgeous significant other, the love of my life, really wanted to see it, which is kind of a role reversal because I'm the one that pushes the action comic booky movies, and she's kind of yeah, fine, I'll just go see it. She really wanted to see Venom. She wanted to see if they could put what is essentially a villain into a role where you could be sympathetic toward the villain. Now me, being I'll see anything. I said, sure, we'll go see it. Why not? Okay. So we went and saw it. And I'll tell you right now, man, it ain't perfect, but it was really enjoyable. Tom Hardy, man, gives his all in that movie. Like, he committed to that character, and the dialogue that he does between Venom and Eddie Brock is, as people are saying, like the best part of the movie by far. A lot of people were calling out the CGI for being pretty dodgy. I'll tell you right now, man, I thought Venom looked great. Even though he did not have that thing on his chest, I thought he looked awesome. I liked the look of the movie. I liked the movie. Yes, the bad guy, the villain, was really lame. Poor Michelle Williams, who's like one of the best actresses of our time, was like completely wasted in that movie. What I really appreciated was the entire first act was dedicated to talking about Eddie Brock and developing Eddie Brock. And that's good, because sometimes you're going to go for the anti-hero. You got to kind of develop like the good side of the guy first. And they took their time, and it was worth it. Now, what the problem was since they took so much time in the first act, the third act was a mess, and it felt completely rushed. So, I saw it. I enjoyed it. I immediately knew by the amount of people in that theater, and then the amount of people just like crawling around the movie theater in general, that this thing was going to make a lot of money. What I didn't know, that it was actually going to like break October records. It made like $80 million. What that brings me to here is the divide. Like, even though critics did not like the movie and panned the movie and said, don't go see it, this could have been avoided, da-da-da-da-da, people still came out and paid to see this movie, and it broke records. So are we losing our faith in our movie critics? I can't remember the movie that it was for, but there were people that wanted to petition to get rid of Rotten Tomatoes because they were giving a certain movie a rotten score. That is so stupid. Do you know Rotten Tomatoes just compiles critic reviews? It doesn't do its own reviews. It just compiles the reviews. So petitioning it would do no good. Petition the critics that you don't like. Write the critics that you don't like. They're never going to respond to you, but that's more of a valiant effort as opposed to your futile effort of trying to petition to get rid of Rotten Tomatoes. You're not going to get rid of Rotten Tomatoes, okay? It's just not going to happen. But how reliant are people on these critics now? That's the question. So I thought about this a little bit. And I mentioned that I did read Entertainment Weekly and Rolling Stone when I was young. One of the critics from Entertainment Weekly, his name is Owen Gleiberman. He no longer works for Entertainment Weekly. I believe he works for Variety now. One of the critics from Rolling Stone was named Peter Travers, and he still works and writes for Rolling Stone. I want to share something with you guys, and yes, we're getting very personal and very intimate on the very first video. I read these when I was a kid. I am 40 years old. And those critics are still writing. Maybe the old guard needs to get out and start letting the new guard in. Now, there are new critics that are really good at what they do. A lot of the YouTube critics are doing a great job now. Two off the top of my head, Jeremy Johns, Chris Stuckman, two awesome reviewers, and their channels are almost solely devoted to movie reviews with a few video games here and there. And they do a great job. But the thing that I don't think the old critics can get a handle of right now is the YouTube generation. People want to see everything, all right? There are kids that are watching playthroughs of video games. I think to myself, why don't you just go play the thing? You know, I'm still one of these old school guys that when I go and I want to read a review of something, I still want to read it. I don't want to watch it. I do appreciate the websites that give you the option to watch something and not read it, but I will always take the read option. That's me, because as I've already stated, I'm old and I want to read stuff. I don't want to watch stuff. I want to read it. Maybe this new guard needs to really take charge. And these guys always have something good to say as well. I think a lot of them are also involved with film school. Some are in film school. Some have gone to film school. So like they know their stuff. Like they know more than me, that's for sure. I don't know if it's the age of the critics that's what it is. You know, you think to yourself, and this might be completely stereotyping, but like older people don't always 100% prefer these comic book movies, okay? Even me, even though I'm only 40 years old, kids movies nowadays really annoy me because they're just non-stop. They always got to keep moving. They can't stop. Perfect example, Hotel Transylvania 3. Never stopped. And then you think of like old kids movies like E.T. Like E.T. let you figure everything out on your own, did not talk down to you in the least, and took time to develop the characters and took time to develop the story instead of just throwing crap at your face all the time. You see what I'm talking about, Rants? I got a little off topic here. Now, I also want you to think of the reverse. Okay, and another movie that came out this year is the complete reverse of Venom. I'm talking about Solo, a Star Wars story. Now, I am also, if you hadn't figured it out, I'm a Star Wars fan. I love Star Wars. I will also go on and say I love Star Wars, and I really, really dislike The Last Jedi. You got a problem with it? That's what the comment section is for. So Solo came out. I had low expectations. I really like Solo. I thought it was excellent. I thought it was well done, and it felt like a Star Wars movie. Felt like a Star Wars movie way more than The Last Jedi did, I'll tell you that for sure. That stands, I believe, at a 70% on Rotten Tomatoes, and that movie, as far as Star Wars movies go, flopped. Word of mouth is more important than ever now. Even if one critic pans something, you might have one of those, younger critics that's just doing a YouTube channel and be like, oh no, it's cool, go check it out, it's worth it. I am starting to lose my faith in critics. Now, obviously, they are right about a lot of things. Like I also saw A Star is Born that holds about, I think, a 93% or 91 or 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. And that movie was great. And every critic is saying how great that movie is. And they're not wrong. The movie's amazing. It really is. We know we're coming out of the age of print. Like newspapers are a dying breed, which is a shame. Are these older critics, the old guard, are they going to make it into a completely digital age? Or are they going to just be phased out by these younger guys? Is that a bad thing? Is that a good thing? Are we going to continue to see this divide between the money that movies make or the critical acclaim or the critical bashing that they get? All I know is that based on Venom alone, maybe I shouldn't be putting my faith in critics so much. And then you go back to The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi has over a 90% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes. And I thought that was a piece of junk. This is a very, very difficult thing to decipher. So here's where I put it to you, the viewers. Do you put your faith in critics? Do you look at critical reviews before you go out and watch a movie? Or do you just go with your gut? You go with what the trailer is saying. You're like, yeah, man, that thing looks good. I'm going to go see it. Leave me some comments. I'll talk to you guys later. I'm out.